Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, love and peace, everyone. My name is Jamin Bryant Herron, activist, Democracy North Carolina Bridge Fellow, and community organizer of Cabarrus County with Advanced Carolina. And I am honored to stand here with students and young folks from across North Carolina for Next Gen Advocacy Day. Today, the next generation is stepping into our power. We are reminding our state that democracy is strongest when everyone has the opportunity to participate. We are here because we understand voting goes beyond the ballot box. Us being here is a collective responsibility that will shape the future of our schools, our communities, and our state. Throughout history, young people have helped shape the future of our nation. It was North Carolina students who sat at Greensboro lunch counters to challenge segregation. Young organizers marched across Edmund Pettus Bridge for voting rights. College students demanded change during civil rights movement. Every generation has called to protect and strengthen our democracy. Now it's our turn. Today, we'll meet with lawmakers, we'll share our stories, we'll ask questions, we'll speak on behalf of our campuses, our families, and our communities. Our stories has the power to shape the future, shape policy, and shape our democracy. To our elected officials, we are grateful for the opportunity to engage with you today. We come ready to listen, to learn, and to share our perspectives of how North Carolina can continue working toward a democracy that is accessible, fair, and representative of all its people. And to every young person standing here, remember that leadership doesn't begin when you're elected to office. Leadership begins the moment you decide to care about someone beyond politics, when care is your politic. It begins when you choose to show up, to speak out, and to show revolutionary love for another and ensure our neighbors' needs are met. Let's continue building a North Carolina where every voice is heard, every community is valued, and every eligible voter has the opportunity to participate in shaping our democracy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for leading with the fierce urgency of now. Thank you to Democracy North Carolina. And let's have an incredible Next Gen Advocacy Day. All right. Next, I will introduce Ryan with NC PIRG.
All right.
Hello, my name is Ryan Walsh. I'm a democracy leader for NC PIRG, and I'm starting my second year at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in the fall. Thank you for giving me this time to share my experience with voting and what it means to me. I grew up about 30 minutes outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, and attended a rural high school where I first had begun to learn about civic engagement and specifically voting. I remember sitting in my civics class hearing my favorite teacher of all time explaining to us why voting matters and the importance it carries. I hung on to every word she said because I was excited to vote for the first time. After endless dinner conversations with my parents about politics and what was going on in the country and in the world, I finally found myself with the opportunity to express my opinions in the form of casting a vote. Despite my excitement, I soon realized almost none of my classmates felt the same. At the time, I found this confusing. How could you not want to vote? How could you not find this important? After listening to many of my classmates, my friends, and even some of the adults in my life, I found myself hearing similar responses over and over. Voting is inconvenient. I don't know where to vote. I don't know how to vote. I don't know if I'm even registered to vote. And the one that would stick with me the most, my vote doesn't matter. To my knowledge, I was one of the few who voted in my graduating class, and honestly, this was disappointing. Admittedly, I was one of those extremely fortunate to be endlessly encouraged and challenged by both my parents and by my teachers. But unfortunately, not everyone is given these opportunities. And it was here that I realized getting involved and reaching out to both those who do and do not care is incredibly valuable work. I carried these feelings to Chapel Hill, where interestingly, I found a lot of enthusiasm amongst my peers. I found friends, I found organizations, I found campus resources. Despite the enthusiasm, many of my peers still seem to find voting to be a chore. They find it to be an increasingly political and therefore almost taboo topic. I want to speak today because I feel that this is very much the wrong direction for all of us. In just a little amount of time I've spent with NC PIRG, I've seen how fun and almost easy voting can be. There is enthusiasm in the youth if only we reach out to it. When voting is accessible, when the rules and deadlines are clear and consistent, and when young people feel that their voices are valued, voting far exceeds being a chore and turns into a proud expression of what it means to be a citizen of North Carolina.
Oh, yes.
To my lawmakers, as you consider policies that impact our state, I urge you to remember both the feelings of my rural classmates and the energy of my campus community. Voting can be fun, and together we can all make everyone feel empowered in their actions. Thank you. Next, you guys will hear from Jasmine.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jasmine Bastian. I'm a recent graduate of North Carolina A&T and a Democracy NC Frontern. I stand before you today not just as a student, but as a young voter whose voice was empowered because voting was made accessible. When I arrived at North Carolina A&T, I was excited to learn, to grow, and to find my place in the world. What I didn't realize was that A&T would also become the first place where I cast my very first ballot. I was participating in a tradition that generations before me fought, marched, and sacrificed for. Attending the nation's largest HBCU, casting my first vote on my campus connected me to a legacy far greater than myself. I thought about the students who sat in classrooms before me, civil rights leaders like the Greensboro Four who organized so people like me could have a seat at the table, and the countless individuals who believe that democracy works best when everyone has a voice. For many students, college is where we first learn how to engage as citizens. It is where we discover our values, our passions, and our responsibility to our communities. Voting is a crucial part of that journey. That's why the removal of the A&T, UNCG, and High Point early voting site was so disappointing. For thousands of students, that site wasn't simply convenient. It was a pathway to participation. It helped students overcome transportation barriers, demanding schedules, and the uncertainty that often comes with voting for the first time. Many students do not have cars. Many work jobs after class and are still navigating adulthood for the very first time. An on-campus voting site met students where they were and made civic participation a reality rather than an obstacle. Early voting is already the most popular method of voting in North Carolina because it works. It gives people flexibility. It reduces long lines on election day. It allows voters to participate around work schedules, family obligations, and unexpected challenges. And for students, that flexibility can be the difference between voting and not voting at all.
That's right.
And now, as discussions continue around measures such as the SB 1084 that would reduce the early voting period, I worry about what message are we sending to young voters? Are we encouraging participation or are we making it harder? At a time when young people are being told that their voices matter, we should not be removing opportunities for them to participate in the democratic process. We should be investing in civic engagement, expanding access, and creating pathways that encourage lifelong participation. I ask you today to remember that behind every voting site, every early voting day, and every policy decision, there is a person, a first-time voter, a student rushing to vote between classes, a young person working an evening shift, and someone who wants to participate but needs the opportunity to do so. I was one of those students. I hope the students who come after me will have the same opportunity that I had, to walk across their campus, cast their vote, and leave behind that their vote matters. And that participation matters. And I would hope that the state believes that they matter too. Thank you. And now I'll pass it to Sophia.
Hi, good morning. My name's Pokia. I'm a summer intern at Democracy, North Carolina, and a rising sophomore at UNC Chapel Hill. On June 8th, I attended my first Board of Elections meeting in Whiteville, North Carolina. The room was packed with members of the community, most of whom were rallying against the removal of their early voting sites in Columbus County. When it comes to early voting, people need consistency, both with when their sites are open and how many exist for a county. I not only heard anecdotes, but personal gripes with navigating many towns, counties, and even cities without public transportation whilst trying to vote. I'm speaking from personal experience when I tell you it is not easy to get around these places without a car. It's costly both in time and money, which is the last thing elections should be. It pushes people to carpool, travel around their work schedule, and even plan how to access voting sites with disabilities and aging bodies. A set number of sites and expanding the hours they run increase the possibility that as many people that are eligible have the ability to vote. Now, these are just some of the obstacles that North Carolina citizens face which disenfranchise them and their voting rights. As a collective, if we truly support voting accessibility, then we must back the legislative bills that expand, not restrict it. Bills such as the Safeguard Fair Elections Act promote democracy in its truest form, which I don't believe currently exists in this state as it is. We need legislation that ensures that everyone in the voting process is protected, from rural and minority communities to the election officials working tirelessly in the centers. No one on either side should appear to the polls under the fear or threat of intimidation. This same bill would make it show that election results would be certified by nonpartisan officials with expertise in the field, making it so that the vote count is transparent to the public and little to no unnecessary audits occur. On the other hand, clauses in the recently proposed House Bill 958 allow individuals to challenge other citizens' ballots based on their residency status. Meanwhile, the state auditor would have the ability to investigate statewide elections to his own discretion. Bills such as this and county movements to reduce the number of early voting sites infringe on voting access. We need to oppose them because our country mandates that everyone who is voting eligible should have equal access to ballots and their votes weighed the same as their fellow citizens. I'll leave you with this. More than half of the votes in this state are cast during early voting, and every single one of them must be protected. That's right. Thank you. Next, you'll be hearing from Joshua.
Good morning, everyone. I am Joshua Aguilera, a Common Cause North Carolina Democracy Fellow and a student at Winston-Salem State University. I've joined you all today to uplift the needs of my campus and of my community, as well as my dreams for the future of the state. On Monday, June 22nd, people from all across North Carolina rallied just outside this building on the Halifax Mall, and they all agreed on two things. The first being our need for a state budget, and the second being the need to preserve our democracy. I myself have participated in advocacy efforts on my campus here in Raleigh and in Washington, D.C. to make it clear that we deserve better. I love to stand behind this podium and celebrate the passing of a state budget that provides for public education, state infrastructure, healthcare, and so much more. It is truly my dream to live in a state that prioritizes the needs of residents all the way around. We don't just need a budget, we need a good budget. One that takes into account the kind of provisions put forth in SB 367 and HB 957. These proposed bills will make provisions for meaningful funding to North Carolina's 10 largest HBCUs. HB 957 outlines the creation of a permanent completion assistance program at some public North Carolina HBCUs. If implemented, the program would allow enrolled students to access up to $1,000 per academic year to cover the cost of continuing attendance. These funds will go a long way towards maintaining the educational, institutional, and economic impacts HBCUs make across the state. Learning to build community and showing up to maintain that community has been a significant part of my college experience at Winston-Salem State University. Participating in our democracy by attending county board of election meetings, volunteering to support voters, and casting my own ballot in each election have all been meaningful parts of that community building effort. With that being said, it is my hope that we can all stand to reject attacks on our democracy. HB 958 will discourage voter turnout. This will change the way young voters, military personnel plus their families, working professionals, and everybody else engages with elections. This bill would weaken our democracy. Your vote matters, your voice matters. The public comment portal for this bill is still open, so if you can hear me right now, I encourage you to make your voice heard. First, using that portal, and then by calling and emailing your representative. This is just one form of advocacy and action. Let's use it. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Jaden.
All right, first, I want to say thank you to all of the speakers, right? Because we have some great speeches. I'll make this pretty quick, you know. My name is Jaden Foy. I'm from NC State. I'm currently about to go into my fourth year. And, you know, right? Anyways, okay, so I am a member of our school newspaper, the black newspaper. It's called the Nubian Message, right? And the Nubian Message's origin comes from when there were some, racist remarks in the general student newspaper, and the Nubian Message founder felt that he needed to make his voice heard. He needed to make his voice seen by all the people on campus, and not just his, but the voice of all students who would be affected by this, right? He did so in 1992, and ever since then, we have been galvanizing students to come vote at NC State, and we have been ultimately pushing black students especially to come out and vote at Talley Student University. That's where I voted, right? Student Union, I'm sorry. That's where I voted. And now Talley Student Union is no longer gonna be a voting place, early voting place, And I know that hundreds of students and hundreds of potential voters are going to be disenfranchised by this, right? This is completely unacceptable. And it's not just about today. In the past, historically, NC State was a segregated university. I talked to Reverend Dr. David Forbes when I interviewed him. He was a member of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee from Shaw University, right? And when I talked to him, one of the things that he mentioned to me was he was extremely seriously excited that myself and so many other black students were even there at NC State University. We only got there because of people like him who fought and who not just fought, but fought vigorously for our right to vote. I remember a previous speaker went to NCA&T, and out in Greensboro, you have the Greensboro sit-ins. Those events, combined with the things that were happening in SNCC, some of the freedom rides, all these previous events were organized by mass organizations, right, to cause genuine change. So while I believe it's very important that we individually support certain, bills and certain things, one thing I can say for certain is we need to organize.
Yeah.
Our elders were organized.
Yeah.
Today, those pushing for real change are organized, not just in America, around the world. So it's very important that we take our time here to get organized now. The only way we can stop the attacks on voting is the same way that our founder at the Nubian Message stopped the attacks on black students in the student media, is by collecting a bunch of other people, getting organized, and doing something ourselves. That's all I really got. Thank you.
All right. Wow. What amazing speakers that we have from our students and young people today. Can we give it a round of applause for our speakers? Thank you. So yes, many of us are active voters. Some of us are preparing to cast our first ballot. Regardless of where we are in the journey of understanding the democratic process, one thing is true. We are united in action and one voice.
That's right.
As the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King reminded us, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Today we face one of the defining challenges of our democracy. And as we are out here outside, as we were folks were kicked out of the Rules Committee from hearing the harmful election bill 958. It's important to take note of the challenges to access and our rights in the people's building. This is not just about one day or one election. It is about the future we are building together. A future where every student, every community, and every county, every generation has a seat at the table. While they try to walk voting rights back, we must realize and we must let it be known the struggle was never simply to win a legislative victory in one moment. It was to build and protect a democracy where every eligible person has a fair opportunity to make their voice heard, to remove barriers, not to add them. When voting becomes more difficult or less accessible, particularly for communities that have historically faced discrimination, we must do what our ancestors did for us and sacrifice to make it easier for someone else.
Yeah.
Teach someone about early voting. Help someone make a plan to vote. Encourage someone who feels like their voice doesn't matter. Ensure that they get a mail-in ballot and mail it in. Ensure our people have a ride to the polls regardless of how far they put the polling location.
That's right.
Remind them that democracy belongs to all of us, for us, by us. Protecting the freedom to vote is not just about honoring history, it's about fulfilling our responsibility to communities and the next generation. And to our older folks, our elders, our OGs, our supporters, don't be afraid to pass the torch. Please help demystify the narrative that we don't want to work, that we want everything handed to us. When our democracy is under attack, we stand up and fight back.
That's right.
As we should, we expect certain things from a society that values its people. We should expect a quality education that prepares us for the future. We should expect housing we can actually afford. We should expect access to nutritious food, quality health care, and the opportunity to build a stable life to the pursuit of liberty and happiness that this country promises. These aren't luxuries. These are basic foundations that allow people to thrive. Every generation has fought to leave the next one better off than the last, and we will do the same. Our presence today sends a simple message. We believe our democracy should continue striving to be more accessible, more inclusive, and more representative of all North Carolinians. Forward together, not one step back. Thank you to Democracy North Carolina and all partners, again, our students and young people from across the state. We welcome any questions from our press. And we also want to ask Jocelyn to step forward to speak more towards the harms that have experienced today in the election bill that's taken place. Joselle, I'm sorry.
Thanks so much, Jamin. And let's give it up to the students behind us one more time. Because they are our leaders right now. They are the generation that is going to make the change we've been working our whole lives for, and they have been too. So great job, all of y'all. Who was in the People's House right before coming to this press conference? Raise your hand if you was just inside the building. Now raise your hand if you think our lawmakers who are funded with our tax dollars should be able to kick us out of the People's House. That's right. Our lawmakers who we vote into office, we take the time off of work, the time away from our children and our families to make a plan to vote to get them elected. And they're kicking us out of the House. It is a shame. And they should know that it is us, the voters, who pick them and choose them to represent us in office. It is the voters who continue to show up election after election, anti-voter bill after anti-voter bill, and still vote, and still bring our friends, and still bring our family. House Bill 958 is a tragic anti-voter package that aims to disenfranchise Black communities, student voters, disabled voters, senior voters, marginalized voters, elderly folks, folks who need to vote absentee because their belongings were swept away in Hurricane Helene, who needs to use voter ID, but they don't have one because they don't have a car to get to the DMV, or their county doesn't even have a DMV. Come on. So how are we supposed to keep up with all of these election changes while we're also keeping up with rent, while we're also keeping up with gas prices and the cost of living rising every day? We are over 1,000 days late for a state budget. The only state in the entire country without a state budget. But they're in there right now, prioritizing a racist, anti-voter package that the people can't even say nothing about. But that's okay, because we're out here, and as Don Blagrove said at the rally on Monday, they are scared because we are winning. They are scared because we are what? Winning. We are winning, and we will continue to win. all of these students will continue to win. They will show up on campus. They will show up at those county board of election meetings. They will show up at the state board of elections when those votes happen. And they will continue showing up at the polls in November and beyond. So I hope the one thing you remember from today is that these students and every voter that heads to the polls, you are winning. And we are right here with you. Yes. And we ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Whose votes? Our votes. Whose votes?
Our votes. Awesome. I want to give a special thank you. I'm Reverend Dr. Stefan Weathers Sr., and I am the director of the Democracy Summer Program. But I want to give a huge shout out because this is what? Next Gen Advocacy Day. So I want to give a huge shout out to our Carolina Youth Partnership Coalition, which is Democracy North Carolina, which is Common Cause North Carolina, which is Southern Vision Alliance, which is NC Purge. And so all of this today that you see and that will be going on in the General Assembly is all thanks to these organizations and thanks to these young people behind me. We are so excited for the rest of the day, what we're going to be engaged with, the conversations we're going to have with legislators. And again, I want to thank all our partners. And I just want to, what Joselle said, I want y'all to keep the heart. We are winning. They're scared because we are winning. They're scared because we're coming. They're scared because we're here. Yeah. So I want y'all to join with me. I don't want y'all to don't leave me on an island by myself. I want y'all to join with me. The people united will never be defeated. 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 Now let's go get our victory, y'all.